was in transit.
Just like.
Mentioned.
All right, you're okay.
Yes.
For the switch Thursdays.
I needed to ask regarding the presentation mentioned in Jamie Gate. And then light the tree.
Okay, I'm gonna have to start, Jason.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, you have, oh, you have a pen?
I don't need the. I need the sheet.
Some agendas.
I got
We
my.
have the minutes.
I don't need it.
Minutes.
88th Street, between Columbus and Ave. Broadway and Street. Isn't that funny? Oh, this is regarding.
Looks funny.
Yeah.
That's the downstairs and the members.
Right, this is the number that we.
Oh.
Hey, I didn't sign in this. Yes.
No, but I mean, about sitting on my desk. Copies of the letter that we sent out. Thank you, Cicely.
Thank you.
Greg, chairperson.
Yeah, she must have put on her advisory council account.
Okay.
Or she forgot.
She is. Did she make it?
So,
Thing still doesn't, never works. They can't, we're gonna need you to move your chair though.
can, Eric, can you move down a little bit? And Karen, can you move down a little bit?
I'll think we've got another chair.
Oh. The screen.
The screen is behind you.
Right.
That's what counts.
I don't want to be.
That's what I'm planning to, because we have prepared a resignation letter. He's got to do it.
Yeah.
I think he's fine. I think Randy spoke with him and I think he's okay, but he's not going back to New York. So
All right, does anyone have the non-member sign-in sheet?
It's going around.
Over here.
Sign in, Chris? No.
Nope. Non-citizen, where's it next?
That one.
Oh, not
Actually, that's a nice way to say it.
I just.
No, you stay right there. No, you stay right there, that's great.
Yeah, right there.
Okay. This is all being recorded.
Okay. Are we ready to begin?
Dennis, you may borrow my.
Thank you very much. Okay. Unspoken.
5, 6, 7.
Lisa, I can still barely hear all of you.
Okay, when we, how about now, we speak in our, louder voices.
Can you hear us now?
Barely, and I've got my volume up all the way on a fairly new phone.
So the way, are we,
That's our,
I'll try an old phone.
Oh, now you're at the full power. And then
hi,
Thanks, do we have?
Stuart, can you hear us well?
only two of those.
I hear little whispers.
No, I'm asking if other folks are having the same issues. Kate, Stuart.
I have no issue hearing you at all, and even the fellow who
Okay,
was
I'll
talking
switch
was
phones.
crystal clear and very loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Ron, try another phone, please. Thank you.
Or disconnect and come back on. Sometimes that fixes it.
Okay.
We're freshening it, yeah.
yeah, Kate said no issues.
Kate was saying that she doesn't have these. Okay, Mr. Chair,
All right. Welcome to our end of March Transit Riders Council meeting. We have a lot to talk about. There's a lot happening and hopefully most of it is really good. We're obviously anxiously awaiting the budget negotiations, which we will get into in a little while. But everybody seems to be on the same page as to the importance of the MTA, how it is an essential service and how it should be funded as an essential service, not an afterthought, and a continuing funding. So let me just say that today is opening day in a lot of ways. And I know Lisa's very happy with that. Besides baseball, we are bringing the booth agents out of the booths and onto the platforms to speak, to converse with, to assist riders. When the Omni machines come into the stations in a month or so, or at the most 2 months, they will help folks use them because they will be a little bit different than the MetroCard vending machines that everybody is used to. But we definitely want to see these machines, and we want to see the booth agents out and talking to people and more eyes on the platform. The booths will remain a resource for them where they can go in, leave their property, make phone calls. They will be given cell phones just in case of emergencies, but they will be more eyes and ears on the stairs and on the platforms. And this is so important because almost nobody is using the booths anymore because most of what you want to do can't be done at the booths anymore. So it makes perfect sense. I really congratulate TWU Local 100 for agreeing to do this, and they are getting an additional payment for it, but I think it benefits everybody. It's long past time to get the agents out and helping people, with directions, with exits, for a certain bus line, if that's what you're going to do. Where on the platform you should stand if you're going to transfer to another line. They know this stuff, and I think this is a long time coming. What's the matter, Mr. Ed? What do you need? Oh, the signage. Okay. So obviously it's also baseball opening day, which is what Lisa was celebrating. There are lots of trains going to Yankee Stadium today to celebrate opening day. Don't know in Miami if Miami Metro Rail is serving where the Mets are going to have their opening, but I guess it is.
It
Right?
does, yeah, yes.
So that's good too. So you can get to the ballpark by train.
That you do.
Yes. So that's a really good thing. And as has happened before over the years, it isn't just trains from Grand Central that are going to serve Yankees East 153rd Street, but it's going to be trains from the New Haven line, the Hudson line. Harlem line is a little more difficult, but I think it can be done. So that's really great. Let's get out and support our teams and our transit system. So that wasn't number one on your agenda, but I thought because I would open with it because it's opening day, no pun intended. We are also celebrating a 1,000 bus expansion of the open stroller pilot program. I have a list of the 57 routes that it's going to cover. I don't want to have to read them right now, but if anybody wants to know, but if you don't want to just go to the MTA's website, I have a list of the routes. But it's all boroughs, and it's a really terrific assortment of routes. And the open stroller program has been pretty successful. People seem to like it. It hasn't deprived anyone of seats, but it's gotten people riding because they have a place to put their stroller and their belongings. And they fold up, they fold down. And it's a very pro-rider initiative and pro-family initiative and pro-senior initiative in many ways. So I just think it's a great expansion. And
do you know what percentage of the set is covering at this point?
Once they do the additional 57 routes, I think it's going to be close to 40 to 50% at that point.
It'd be that much?
I think it will be that much.
I thought it's 57.
Routes, but not percent. Okay, so there's that. On-time performance continues to really be terrific. President Davey was saying it's the highest in their history, and without a doubt the highest since pre-pandemic. It's like in the low 90s now for a lot of the routes, which is pretty amazing considering all the work that's going on. And in fact, I asked that question: do all of the weekend GOs affect on-time performance? Do you take those GOs into account when you're calculating the on-time performance? He goes, that's considered part of the, that's whatever. If we're delayed because of GOs, that's part of the calculation. So it's still approximately 90%, even on weekends, which is pretty darn good. I have seen delays and I have seen slow, like on the CBTC 8th Avenue installation now, if you're taking a downtown A, C, or E, you'll go really slowly past the work areas. That's in the notification to riders. That's also on the out front advertising screens that there are slow orders on various lines while they install CBTC. That's the price we pay until we get CBTC, when everything will be sped up, obviously, and run more closely together. But there is a price to pay. The weekend service But Mr. LaSalle has been doing a lot of really great things on the weekends, and there is serious talk, I heard yesterday, of increasing service on weekends, even though we're doing all these GOs, because ridership is so high on weekends now. I mean, I've been riding every day for the past 3 weekends, and I'm finding standing room only on weekends, and I don't remember that pre-pandemic. About this,
No, but it's something you remember. People make the world go around like stylistics.
yeah, definitely.
I think it's because of Uber, to be honest, because Uber prices are getting insane.
Plus, the congestion
Yeah.
in the city is such that you're sitting in a car and your fees are going up
Yeah.
for nothing.
Every Saturday, I would take the train down to my friend's house in Tribeca. I would always get a seat the last like month or so. I've been like, what the hell's going on? Is like, because I live near Lincoln Center. It's like there are shows or something like that. Like, but still, no matter what, it's always just packed.
It could be that the price hike did not, it was a good move for transit riders, I guess. Lisa,
So last weekend, there was, the 7 line was shut down for the ongoing, never ending work that's happened there. And there were some issues,
Proctor Boulevard, did they move it to the 7 line?
right?
It used to be Proctor.
Yeah, the shuttle bus.
But yeah, but there were issues with the shuttle bus and there were issues with signage. And I got in touch with Jose LaSalle. And by the time I got off the shuttle bus, he was already reaching out to crews to come and address the signage issues. And by the time I got back to where I was going, the signs had been put up, the shuttle bus issues had been resolved, and he was really responsive. So that was really helpful. But the question is, what happens if you don't happen to be able to get in touch with those guys? So there are
the
other
average person
ways,
does not.
but there are other ways to be in touch with the MTA, and I think that it would be helpful for them to advertise what those are.
yeah. One of the things I've been pushing, and they seem pretty positive about this suggestion, and they say they want to do it and they're waiting for the technology to allow them to do it. But to have on the out front screens and in every station, real-time maps that are up there, which take into account the weekend GOs, the fact that certain things are running local instead of express on that weekend, maps that are what you're experiencing at that moment, not what, is regular Monday to Friday and all of that. Having real-time service info like that would really help riders.
Only if you've got those screens at your station and that they haven't been smashed.
Yes, they haven't been smashed.
There's
There's
already one got smashed at Atlantic.
Yeah.
Downstairs on.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just unreal. But having real-time service information, I think, would be wonderful.
May I say something about our wonderful subway system and why it took me after I called.
Can you wait on that? Because I want you to raise that in old business. Because we have discussed that issue.
No, there's another issue now, besides the trains pulling in and out. Which is why it took another 5 minutes to get here after I spoke to you.
Let me move into the subject of the budget, which is on everybody's mind. We actually, at yesterday's board meeting, had several elected officials speak about the importance of the MTA and how they want it funded so we don't go through these crises every 2 years. Chair Lieber has stated, and very unequivocally yesterday, we need solutions that don't sunset. We don't have to come back here every few years and go through this same dance of, how are we going to fund the MTA? Where, this cost has gone up, that cost has gone up. It appears that both houses' budgets, as well as the governor's budget, do take care of the fiscal cliff and the fiscal cliffs that might loom in the future, but they arrive at those solutions in different ways, some of which probably are more reliable than others. Some of which is a little bit of wishful thinking about revenues that might be raised by doing this, or this. So we obviously, Saturday is the 1st of April. That is technically when it is due. There have been budgets that have been late by almost a week. Hope we don't go there, but for months, yeah. But what we do have now that Trudy has arrived is somebody who's fairly close and has very good connections with some of the people undergoing these negotiations. Trudy, do you want to add a few things?
Yeah, let me just, I can't believe this subway system. All the complaints that I get are absolutely correct and then some.
Once you come down with me, I have no.
Well, then
I'm
you're,
on one stop away.
well, you must leave very, very early and leave yourself a lot of time. I'm in the middle of doing other things. Okay, anyway, I'll talk about that later, right? My problems today, okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, yesterday I was in Kingston, New York, which is like, not, but there was a meeting with, let's just say, high officials and their representatives. I'm not going to, go through whatever. And I had an opportunity to talk with some of them, some off the record, but some I said, I have a meeting tomorrow and I'd like to share it. So what I am sharing with you is that there is still no agreement. The speaker, the the Senate Majority Leader, and of course the governor are all in agreement that something has to be done. But they are not in agreement as of 5 o'clock yesterday. And one of the reasons I left my house late today is because I got 2 calls from people who were involved in yesterday's meeting also, giving me updates, quote unquote. And I will tell you that even though something has to be done, there are different plans for different kinds of taxes, things, but one of the things that is no longer in there, and Lisa, I know you mentioned it yesterday in your, where's Lisa? Right here. Oh. Yeah. Oh,
it's okay.
Okay. Anyway, that casino gambling is no longer one, or the proceeds from, at least not for this year or for next year. And what they are also agreeing on is that there has to be a stable, constant source of revenue. Not let's solve the fiscal cliff this year and then go back to that the next year. As we all know, the budget is due in 3 days now.
Saturday.
2 days, Saturday. 2 days. And especially the speaker has made it quite clear that even in the past, there was this whole thing, let's get it all solved and let's get it done. That this year he wants to, I hope I'm quoting him correctly, he wants to get it right, not on time. And if it's a week or 2 or whatever later, that is what it's going to be. There is disagreement about which kind of taxes there are going to be and the corporate taxes. It seems to, and again, I am getting this not from the speaker but they're people very, very close to them. So I think I can just and I should also say that I was told that Jano, how did somebody put it? His constant, his day, which was more like a week because he got so much accomplished, but that his time and they all agree that there is a crisis, that there is also, and this is kind of, well, it's off the record, except I've heard it on now a couple of news broadcasts, that there may have to be, and I guess, Andrew, you would know better than my sources, that there will have to be a fair increase. And it's just a question of how much. It seems to be $290 that there's sort of a, but
That's what they put in the budget.
But there were some people who said that during the conversations, they were saying, why $290? Why let's just make it $3? It'll be easy to do and everything else. But $290 seems to be the number right now. And
Keeping in mind, that's a single ride and there's going to be a lot of deals available.
I know, but in the you've heard me say this so many times, and I heard this yesterday from some other people who were at the same meeting that I was, but, and also heard what I did, but are not as involved with us as they are. And basically, they're saying there's going to be hell to pay because the public just does not want, no matter if it's $2.90 or $2.80 or, $3. So I would suggest, and this was suggested by these people really close in, that there's going to be, as one of them put it, there's going to be hell to pay, no matter what happens. But right now, it does not look like, now they are now meeting around the clock. And their representatives are meeting around the clock, as well as the principals, also the
Clock is ticking.
representatives. But I hope I'm wrong, but based on what I heard yesterday, I am not optimistic that we're going to have anything done in 2 days. But hope springs eternal, and I just thought you should know, as it were, from me, straight from the horse's mouth, as it were.
Thank you. I think that's helpful. I think we all expected perhaps a slight delay, not by Saturday, but it's more important to get it right than to get
Well,
it fast.
you are quoting the speaker. That is exactly what Carl Hasty said, or is saying, continues to say.
And for those,
Are the votes there to put something through at this point?
Oh, the votes, you mean are the people there or?
they're all in Albany now.
Oh, they
I
are.
said the voters, I said the votes. So anything through?
Yes, no, every elected official and is in Albany right now.
No, I think Bert meant, is there enough of an agreement that something could be agreed to?
No, there, that is what, there, right now, there is not enough votes for one of the plans. That is why they're meeting around the clock.
They're gonna horse trade various things.
I
There's a
mean,
lot of
I think you heard the
ancillary
same thing.
issues,
I
too.
mean, I heard the board meeting after I got back, and it was basically what I had been told with a few variations, especially the idea, that the deadline, that there is no deadline, as far as they're concerned.
Yeah,
So,
These things are not going to bring instantaneous cash.
no,
I mean-
some of them will take a while to bring in.
no, but the whole idea is having it in the budget so that it will, which is why something like casino gambling, there were also discussions now on the parking permit.
Residential parking permit.
Residential parking permit,
Yeah, that's,
which came up in the 11th hour. But there seems to be, especially and pardon me, all my friends from Queens and the Bronx and everything, but what they call the outer boroughs, that people are, the public seems to be in favor of this if they have to pay something, because at least they can park their cars where they live. So that's a kind of an 11th hour thing that I was told is, and again, Andrew, I asked you, and that's why you said I should talk about this, and then you would either confirm or tell me that I didn't know what I was talking about.
no, it sounds like what I hear. It's still out there. There's no agreement in, not even the Senate and the Assembly are in agreement.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
so-
There are 3 different plans, if you will, or thoughts or way of thinking, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And
Stay
there's-
tuned is
There's the Assembly, there's the Senate, and there's the governor. And there are 3 separate, not just for us, by the way, one of the things that is also holding up on a budget besides us is the bail issue. And also which we discussed, I think, the PCAC meeting about the housing and, new housing and where it's going to be and where it's going to be located and so forth. So it's not just, we're
There are
not
lots of
only the
issues.
bad guys. There are a lot of issues. But we are, as somebody put it, one of the major concerns, because everybody realizes that. Some of them were actually quoting Jano to me, about,
So they're listening. That's good.
that's good.
All right.
Can I just add,
Yeah.
at the board meeting yesterday, I thought it was refreshing to hear some of the members of the Assembly and the Senate talk about PMT as the preferred primary method of funding, as opposed to the corporate franchise tax, which the Senate and the Assembly have also embraced in their one house bills. So it sounds as though they're getting, the MTA is gaining traction
Well,
in their conversation. I also just wanted to raise that.
I love your optimism, but the corporate tax and the payroll tax and there's another tax.
I'm just saying what I heard,
Okay.
what they were saying, what they said. And then I just wanted to raise.
One or two of them have said it, but I'm telling you that's
What I-
on the top.
Yeah, no, I get it.
They
I just
all-
wanted to also note that we, PCAC sent a letter. And thank you all for weighing in, to the governor, the Senate Majority Leader and the Assembly Speaker in support of the proposals that we came to consensus on. And thank you, Judy, for your support and agreement.
Okay.
Help on that. So this is-
Andrew, can I
Thank you
ask
for
a-
bringing- Before,
Can I ask a
just wanna
quick
bring
question?
one- I just want to bring one
Hold
more
it one
thing up,
second, Stuart.
because it just reminded me of someone else.
Jumping on.
At least one of the very close representatives of one of the three major people, and I won't go any further, who sees everything of importance that comes to this person, didn't know anything about the letter. So I said, well, I'm going to a meeting tomorrow and I will ask permission. Lisa, is it okay if I share our letter?
It's on our website. We sent it to the
No,
press.
but this I want to send direct.
Oh, please send it to.
I
We've
just, look,
asked everybody to send it to us.
no, but this is somebody who will get it into the hands of one of the principals.
We sent it to we sent it directly to their people. If their people didn't get it to them, then shame on them.
Which people, I don't know, because everybody says I am the closest.
Yes, Trudy, if you can get it closer, please do. We had that, I thought we had that conversation. My bad. I apologize. Yes, if you please get as close as you can.
I
Thank
will
you.
get it to somebody who will make sure that one of the three principals
Great, thank you.
sees it
All
by
three.
the end of today. Well, I can only have one person.
Can you let Stuart ask his question, please? Stuart's been waiting. Yes, Stuart.
I appreciate that, Andrew. Trudy was referencing that a tentative proposed fare might be $2.90. Did they say what the express bus fare would be?
I have not heard that yet.
Stuart,
Because
nobody-
remember that's a critical piece for movement in the city. Staten Island is part of New York City. It's something we need to
I
watch
apologize.
closely.
And there's express buses from the Bronx and Queens too.
Correct. Yeah.
The budget, the MTA's budget proposal included a fare increase of 5.5%. There have been conversations about whether that would be 4% or 5.5%. So that would be what the increase would be, whatever the percentage increase would be.
And let's not forget when, and hopefully it's going to happen by September or October, but when Omni is everywhere, you'll have fare capping. And so you can get the benefit of a weekly or hopefully a monthly at some point without laying out the money for it. So
Right.
that's a
I
good thing.
appreciate thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
And then
And-
to Lisa's point, then, with our letter, I still say we should be on record as saying, because people will be obviously not pleased with any fare increase. We should still be saying that if there are efficiencies to be gained at the MTA to reduce operational costs, that's something I think we should still.
And the MTA has already agreed to $400 million worth of efficiencies.
So we
Right.
did actually at your suggestion, include a
Yes.
sentence to that effect.
I know I'm
Yeah.
saying thank you, but now post you know, in the discussions that are
Well-
up there in Albany, we should be saying this.
Yes.
I think that they all know that. They also know that. And Stuart, to answer your question, unfortunately, everybody, when they talk about raising the fare, they don't think about fares or discounts or anything
Oh,
else.
the
They
fare.
talk about that the fare will go up from $275 to $290, period. Exclamation point, done. They just don't want to know about that. Because I don't want to go through, a lot of discussions that I had with various people. I was just trying to summarize it, but a lot of these things came up. And the thing is, it's that the fare will go from $275 to $290 or somewhere around there. As one of the people said.
Okay.
I need to,
Chris, and then Jason, then we need to move on.
yeah, I'm gonna make this quick. We also gotta remember, if we do build the fare goes up, we gotta remind that the reduced fare and the low income cannot afford any more that we can do, because the Port Authority charging 2 arms and a leg is grand larceny. So if we gotta deal with, any fare increase, we gotta have to deal with seniors and people with disabilities and the low income, because for them to go, the fare to go up anymore, they're gonna have to really, work on making sure the community, the seniors and disabled can get on a bus, because $2.90, it's like they gotta find more coins just to make up a 90 cents. And it's gonna be very difficult for Accessorize, because they have to get select change.
If the fare were to go up hypothetically
Yeah.
to a 290, that's not what the senior and disabled fare would be.
No, it'll be half fare, which we know that, but Accessorize will be $2.90, which will be $2 bills and 90 cents, exactly.
I think people will be using not kind of exact change. They'll be using cards by then.
Let's pray,
Yeah.
because that's what we need to.
No, that was one of the points that was brought up by somebody saying 290, it's a bad number. You gotta carry change, you gotta carry just what Chris is saying now.
Mhm.
And that's why they said, and then somebody else said to me, well, the discussions are every, whether it's every 10 cents, every 5 cents, every penny makes a difference. So, but I got the impression.
And let's not forget the fare hikes affect the commuter rails as well. And
Exactly.
they are looking at all kinds of combinations and deals on the commuter rails, because some of those fares have gotten really high. I mean, there's a $500 a month cap on various zones on Long Island because the monthly rates have gone so high. Karen, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm not sure how this is gonna go over on the commuter rail. The frustration I've seen, I got off by mistake at Valley Stream, I got on the wrong train. It's just been a nightmare at Jamaica, and you don't hear half the announcements, and there's like last minute changes. And it was this big yellow sign. I thought I had taken a picture, but I guess I just thought about taking a picture. And they were like, we are like against this whole
I've seen
new
that.
station, right? And it's just, on top of that, people still have to pay for the subway. And then those who are using the Atlantic ticket, they have felt shafted because now they don't have direct service. It's a lot of transferring and running and.
I'm actually going to get into an East Side Access update next, and I have some stuff to say about that, but I hear you.
Going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, Jason.
Truly, what you brought us today scares me,
Oh, wow.
but is the truth. But we have to think outside the box. Because this year alone, the Port Authority proved us in our faces a 8.5% there and toll increases with no or little public output. That means effective March 5th, those who use the air train to get to JFK Airport are paying, as we speak, $8.25. Those people that are utilizing those bridges to and from Staten Island to go to New Jersey are paying more. Jersey Transit announced recently for a 6th year in a row, no fare increase. But we have to get a 5.5 fare increase
We went through
to
5 years
recover,
without-
Yes.
to,
We've had 5 years without an increase, just for
Uh,
MTA.
we know that. But we have to think outside the box and be creative. And this is why Broward County is something called penny for transportation. And they're doing something called mobility advancement program. And they have a penny sticker in every single bus within Broward County. We should think about it.
Florida?
Yes.
All right.
And even we should consider truly to take portions of the sales tax that we pay to cover the MTA.
That's happening. That already happened.
Yeah.
Because even truly, I am thinking that New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy said publicly that he is against congestion pricing.
So that's apples and oranges. Congestion pricing will not go to pay for operating.
I know.
No, but let me just make something
They've
clear.
got to come up with, they need to come up with a budget. There's a lot of proposals. If you saw my quote yesterday, it's a plethora and a cornucopia, or a plethocorpia, as Andrew said, of options. So it's now it's out of our hands, except to call your elected officials to send them notes to tell them that you support full funding for the MTA.
And let me.
That is something that we can all still do.
Let me make something clear for the record. I was just reporting on what I had found out. I was not there negotiating. I
Exactly.
was not, no, but I want this to be for the record. I do not negotiate
No, of course.
for the empty, well, somebody hearing that could have.
Okay,
assumed
we're gonna
otherwise.
have to move on. We've got a lot to talk about. So, Mr. X, your comment, and then we're moving on.
Okay. Does Eric M's plan to fund MTA? Or is he still dancing like a rockette?
Don't know.
What I,
My second question is Jose LaSalle related to Hector LaSalle?
No.
Okay.
no, just for the record, again, what I heard and what I was told is that as of late yesterday, that the mayor is not giving that 500 million, not 500 grand, 500 million that, I can't deal with the zeros. That the governor is assuming in her plan will be. So I don't know what happened, but as of the close of business yesterday,
Okay.
okay?
Thank you. That says it all for Teddy Long.
Okay, thank you all for spirited discussion. An East Side Access update, as Karen has experienced and many of us have experienced. Things had to change from the initial rollout. Many things have changed. Cars have been added on Penn Station bound trains. Schedules have been adjusted. There are still some through trains to Atlantic Terminal, basically from the West Hempstead branch. In fact, if you look at train time app, something like all through the day at about 37 minutes after the hour, there's a train on track 3, not 11 or 12, which is way over there. But on track 3 from Jamaica to Atlantic Terminal, and those are the West Hempstead branch trains. I asked yesterday, I asked Kathy Rinaldi, president of the railroads, has the Jamaica reconfiguration project made it impossible to, and I understand rush hour when there's such, she goes, we have like Lexington Avenue line subway frequencies at Jamaica in rush hour. So I get that. There's a lot more service now, but I said in the non-rush hour, could we have Grand Central bound trains on track 1, Penn Station bound trains on track 2, and Atlantic Terminal trains on track 3? She goes, that's possible, but it depends on the schedule at that time of day. But there are some through trains on track 3 if you're lucky enough to get to Jamaica arriving on track 1 or 2, and it's like near 37 minutes after the hour in the middle of the day. Yes, I think a lot of through service to Brooklyn has been taken away. Frequency has increased, but you still have to go up and over. And only at the eastern end of the platform is it accessible at Jamaica. The western end is a host of steps, which should have been planned for, obviously, when you're making this kind of crowds move from a track 2 or 3 over to a track 11 or 12. I mean, it's just, plus if you're at the eastern end, you're going to be mixing with folks with luggage because that's where the air train is. It's a nightmare. They are still revisiting the schedules. They said September will be the next really big change in the schedules. Yes, Karen.
I would say that when I came back to New York and I was taking the railroad, my commute on the railroad would be anywhere from like 28 to 30 minutes. Now with this.
So what stop was that? Short memory.
The Penn Station, and sometimes it would be Atlantic when it was direct.
But what was your other end?
Lawton or Atlantic or Lawton to Penn Station.
Laurelton, that's
Where
right.
were you coming from?
Lawton, sometimes Rosedale. Between the two.
Okay, yeah.
Now it can range anywhere from 28 minutes to 55 minutes. And it says it on, so now if I don't have to be somewhere at a particular time, I'm constantly renegotiating which will give me the shortest wait time. And that's the biggest thing. And that's, now that they have the shuttles at Atlantic, I mean, going to Atlantic, if you miss one, it may be 10 minutes, it could be 20 minutes. And that's a big problem, especially in the evening.
Have you experienced the extra dedicated personnel at Jamaica where if you are an arriving train from anywhere and there's about to depart a Brooklyn or Atlantic Terminal bound train and they see people running over, they will actually hold that train and make sure everyone makes it?
Sometimes they'll just say, don't run, there's another one coming. They try, but one guy I was talking to the other day, because I thought I had time and I came down the steps and the train was pulling out, which was in the evening. And I was like, I have to go back up. And he said he's worried about people pushing people to get a train.
Yeah.
That's a big issue.
Yeah, yes.
It's pretty scary.
The 20-minute wait, it's special.
Now, I will say, on the weekend, it's much nicer because the trains are running about every 30 minutes. We've never had that. If we had, it's been a long
You mean out of Laurelton?
and Rosedale.
And are those trains going to both New York terminals?
Yeah, they
Alternate?
alternate.
So it's every half hour to each one?
Just about. And the trains are running pretty full on the weekends. One weekend, it was like standing room only. I would love to see that alternating throughout the day. I don't know the last time they've assessed whether or not we need more frequent service, but I think we do. It would be nice to actually formalize that.
You know, I'm a big fan of rebuilding the Springfield Garden Station.
Yes,
They
yeah.
were promised a subway years ago, and instead they got their station torn down.
1969.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the, yes.
Because you mentioned accessibility. A lot of the communities over there, and I know I talked this to Karen already, are still asking for, on the other end of the platform,
The western end.
western end, the elevators, because since Port Authority, those are their elevators, which you all know don't work that much. There's been complaints. Jason can vouch with me because he said it yesterday and I agree with him. It's really ridiculous how, when they building that platform, they didn't think of having a second set of elevators. When you're on the other platforms, if that elevator's out, you're lucky if Long Island cares. They will take you down to a freight and to another side elevator to get you upstairs. But platform 11, track 11, 12, don't have that. Only one elevator.
Well, you can tell by being at the western stairway that platform F was not envisioned because you have to go up a few additional steps because they had to build this additional part of the stairway for you to get over to platform F. So obviously wasn't planned and
And I have been speaking to elected officials in that area to work on the proposal to get elevators on the west side.
Western End, yes.
Yes, then, thank you.
Okay, moving along. I don't know if you saw the news yesterday, but you can go and inspect one on your own. There is a new type of platform barrier which has been installed at the 57th Street and 6th Avenue F line station. It's an island platform and this barrier is in the middle of the platform. It will allow somebody to lean on it or hold on to it and avoid the fear of being pushed anywhere. Don't know that this is going to work at other kinds of stations. It definitely works on island platforms, but they are going to be installing these. They're going to be installing artificial intelligence in places. They're going to be installing blue lighting to help dispel the need for folks committing suicide. They're doing a host of things to help adjust behavior and make people feel safer. If you have a chance, go look at this barrier because
Where again?
it's on the 57th Street F line station.
What is barrier?
Barrier. It's like a stanchion with you can see through it.
It's a large handrail.
Yeah, it's like a
Like that.
police hand,
Yeah.
It's
So how does
a
the passenger get on the train?
barricade, it's like a barricade. It's in the middle.
It's in the middle. So if you're afraid someone might push you, you can stand on one side of it and you can't be pushed anywhere,
But
especially.
then when the
if you're
train
holding onto it.
comes in, you have to move over.
You have to go to the end of it. Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So you go around it.
Yes, there are still folks pushing for, and I mean really verbally pushing for platform doors. There will be a platform door pilot. It is extremely expensive. Will only work in 30 some odd % of our stations, no elevated stations. And I just think there's a lot better use of our money than that. They're going to be looking at a new fare entry system, and I think that would be a much better use of money than these platform barriers. Plus, I still have yet to get an answer because New Yorkers like to hold doors, as you know. And if somebody held one of these platform barrier doors, would that disable the entire side if it broke, or just that particular door? I'm still waiting for an answer on that one, because that would mean the whole station would be unusable until that was repaired. So stay tuned on that one. And there is a whole host of new station renovations coming. That's President Davies' word for how things are going to be. Tiles are going to be repaired, waterproofing is going to happen, painting is going to happen, and all kinds of other kinds of housekeeping. And the next group of stations to get this is Cortelyou Road on the Q, Broadway on the G, Grand Street on the B and D, Atlantic Barclays on the B and Q, 21st Queensbridge on the F, Sutphin Archer on the E, J, and Z, Zariga Avenue on the 6, Far Rockaway on the A, Pelham Bay Park on the 6, Myrtle Wyckoff on the M, Kings Highway on the F, and Parsons Archer on the E, J, and Z. So you can see that it's all over the place. And you should start to see an improvement in those stations, a visible improvement. If you have, I see some magnificent tile work in some of our stations and it's falling and it's not being repaired. And that's like the L line has the most amazing tile work, I think. It's magnificent. And some of it's falling and we need to keep it fixed. I also noticed that there was a report about the Norwood 205th Street station in the Bronx many years ago. I'm sorry to say that I can remember this, but it's over 25 years ago. The Transit Riders Council held a big press conference at Norwood because the columns were falling down. That station was in such disrepair.
Remember that.
I
You
remember
remember
that.
that?
Yeah.
Wow, we're showing our age, but
Yes, we
Speak
know.
for yourself.
What are they gonna spend?
it depends on the station, obviously,
Yeah.
but they want to make, they want the stations to look like.
10 million.
No, they're not talking that kind of.
Right.
No.
Andrew, Andrew,
Oh, okay.
We got Roy and Deborah.
Okay, yeah,
Andrew.
true.
Yeah, I saw that list and maybe you can answer this. On what basis were the specific stations chosen? Because it looked very eclectic to me.
There are guest thing to that.
Yeah, I believe our guest will be able to answer that particular question.
Okay,
Stuart and a number of you have raised station issues, and that is why I arranged to have today's speaker, the Department of Stations arranged for Carl to come and speak about a number of issues, the frequency of cleaning, the frequency of repairs and other station related issues. Yes.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, you're welcome, Stuart.
What's wrong?
Somebody's hands are up.
no, that's not Stuart.
Ron's hand is up.
Deborah.
Yeah, here I am. Hi, fast question. Where the gates are, that's in the middle of the platform. That's where persons who have mobility devices are supposed to board. How am I supposed to board now?
No.
Please find out.
It's not like that in the middle of the platform.
No, it's in the actual middle of the platform.
It's in the same direction.
But that's
It
where
doesn't-
you're supposed to board. Lisa, I'm supposed to board.
I understand, Deborah.
I think she's breaking up.
No, I think that I understand, but I think it doesn't cut the platform in half. We could draw you a it's.
I'll swing to her.
We'll take a picture and send
Take a
it
picture and send it.
because it's
I
not what you're
saw,
thinking.
I saw where it is. The problem still is that the boarding sign is in the middle of the platform on every
Oh.
station that has elevators. That's the issue. I need to know that is the conductor going to give me enough time or other people who use mobility devices to get on the train if that's where the gate is being placed.
We will check and get back to you, Deborah.
Okay,
Ron?
thank you.
Sure.
Hi, two quick questions on the platform edge. One comment and question. The comment is Transport for London has been using edge platform walls and gates since at least 99, 2000. I've experienced them. They're a pleasure. The entire new Elizabeth line has them. That's number one. Number two, the question, why did they not put platform edge walls and doors on the extra station from the number 7 line and also on the 2nd Avenue subway line? That they would have been perfect places to do it as part of the construction. And they spent a fortune, but somehow managed to miss this important safety feature that's not exactly experimental.
I don't have the answer to why Hudson Yards does not have platform doors. It has very, very wide platforms, but don't know the answer, Ron. I can find out for you though.
Okay, thanks. I had to figure out how to get the hand up down.
We got it. No worries. Your hand is down.
Thanks.
Thanks.
We've been joined by Carl. I see Eric has a question.
Quick question, is this new business?
Well, our guest is,
Our guest is here, so we have to take.
Take a minute.
because,
No,
why don't we have a bunch of other new business, because I know Will is also here to show us his video on, and to talk to us about, surf. So, but before we get into that, because that could take us.
and we have old business before new business.
But first, we have our guest.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us, Carl. We've had a number of station-related issues raised by members and guests. So we're really happy to hear from you and we'll be able to ask you our questions in person. So
Sure, yes, thank you for inviting me. To those who I don't know that I know many folks in the room, my name is Carl Labassi. I am the Assistant Chief Officer for Quality Assurance and Ops Support within the Division of Station Operations. And happy to present to you folks today and then answer any questions that you have to the best of my ability.
Our first question is how, we just need to do a little logistics here.
Oh, there you go.
there we go.
Okay. Now we're gonna camera view. Center view.
All right, that does it.
Things in the way.
Turn the pictures up, hitting the thing on the
Yeah.
top left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Slideshow?
Yeah, slideshow and then play from start. There you go.
We discussed on there.
Center it, you're still cutting off the parts of
I don't think any more members.
There you go.
Just in case anyone wants to say about. Okay, I got them here.
Okay, we're good.
Great. Now, let's, we'll take questions at the end. Okay, so if everybody can please mute yourself, thank you. Okay, Carl, the show is yours.
All right, perfect. So yeah, just a brief presentation on some of the things that are going on in station operation to share with you how we are trying to improve the customer environment. You can advance. So I know there are some questions about the GSM program. It has been ongoing since its inception in 2018. Group station managers are responsible for the overall customer experience from a cleaning perspective, from a customer service perspective, overall nonconformities that are found in the station, otherwise referred to as defects. And then we refer them off to station maintenance or other parties, whether it be, say a privately owned area within a station so that they can be fixed and improved. We are working diligently 24/7, 365 to improve customer satisfaction. I think as President Davey had articulated recently, since June 2022, our customer sat for overall subways has increased 13% to 65% to customer satisfaction, which I think speaks to a lot of efforts that many good folks within stations and other areas and subways have done. We are focusing strongly on stations that have low customer sat rates and ability to improve those. Again, that could be for a variety of reasons. It could be cleanliness. It could be, what we categorize as persons behaving erratically. It could be maintenance conditions, but we try to identify the root cause and see what we can do to address them. And lastly, and maybe most importantly, we have a new Vice President Chief Station Officer, Sheila Hudson, who is fantastic. And in my probably 18 years at the MTA, I have worked for, a lot of talented and fantastic people, but the current team that we have, again, in my estimation, and I don't say this lightly, from President Davey on down, is just amazing to work for, down to Demetrius, Jim Compton, Sheila, and then, how lucky I am to have some of the general superintendents that work for me.
Where did Sheila come from?
So Sheila's been in the division of stations for, quite some time.
Oh, okay.
She is a homegrown, fantastic talent, fantastic leader.
Carl, I don't want to start asking questions in the middle of your presentation, but this one, group station manager has been in constant operation. I thought it was suspended for a while and just brought back.
The group station manager program, and I can't speak to any particular media focus, but no, the group station manager has been ongoing since its inception in 2018.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I've worked hand in hand with the GSMs to do everything I can to support those folks in their daily operations and have done so since 2018. Yeah, you can say it's been maybe reinvigorated and, but yeah, no.
I remember getting an email saying we're bringing back the group station manager.
It was
Reinvigorated, but they've been in that position.
It was recently announced that they were going into effect again, or
like that.
again.
Why don't we let him get through his presentation
Sure.
and then we can,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can advance.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, talking about some of the ways that we're trying to improve customer service, I think is, most of you are aware today is the first day that the agents are providing customer service outside of the booth. That's a huge initiative for us, and we are taking every step possible to communicate that down through the supervisory and hourly ranks so they're aware of what our goals are and know that paramount is their safety, and we take that very seriously. We've opened 9 customer service centers to date, plan by opening 15 by the end of the year. And, as we're working with our partners in TWU to really, step by step as the agents are coming out of the booth, be sure that we're in lockstep so that they feel that we're providing a safe environment. And we're doing all that we can from a training perspective and really also with the ridership in mind to be sure that everybody's on the same page as what the expectations are and, the customer service that we can provide to the public in a safe and effective way. Focusing on station cleaning, one thing that I know is very much near and dear to our EVP, Jim Compton, in terms of cleaning our stations. We have a program we call transformational cleaning that we're really trying to improve how we clean our stations. Most of those initiatives fall under one of three pillars, standards, and saying, hey, you know, this is what clean looks like, trying to visually demonstrate that to our cleaning staff so they understand what our expectations are, trying to review some of our work programs to better clean our stations and, you know, better use some of the tools like our scrubber machines there that you can see so that we can get a better effect on our tile floors. Since Q3 2022, we've brought on about 290 station cleaners. We were lucky enough to have extra resources provided to us, and we are committed to getting the most out of those resources to provide a better customer environment for our for our customers. So in terms of resources, being sure that we're using them smartly. And then under guidance, we're really taking a look at our training program. The world has changed a lot over the past few years, and you know, folks coming in today may learn differently than previous generations. So we're really trying to take a look at how we train folks and be sure that our, you know, our training program, our training resources best communicates our expectations to new employees. And then really also focusing on employee recognition and trying to, you know, for lack of a better word, recognize the employees who day after day come in, don't abuse sick leave, do excellent jobs in terms of customer service and cleanliness, and really do good things for our ridership. To focus a little bit more on some cleaners, we have a cleaner pick coming up summer 2023, and we're actively looking at those resources and ways that we can better deploy them to use scrubber machines, as I said, additional resources, trying to bring back our quality assurance program to where it was pre-pandemic. And, you know, there were some budget cuts and we lost some of those heads to the quality assurance team during the pandemic. So really trying to bring that objective lens that I'm responsible for back to where it was previously. We're increasing the number of overhead hit teams that work on, you know, the overheads, some of the more detailed cleaning within our stations, and also focus on our power wash teams, trying to schedule them as we can in a way that we can, you know, hit the most square footage with the people that we have and the assets and equipment we have. And that's all I have in terms of presentation. Just want to, you know, bring everybody up to speed on what we're doing to try and improve the customer environment.
Can I ask the question I asked before that they?
So just a quick question for me in terms of who to call on first. That's up to me, or I don't want anybody to feel.
Andrew,
Okay,
so
perfect. And
Andrew's
I
the
will
chair.
defer to Andrew.
Thank
And what the way we generally would do it is that members
Members
have the
first,
first.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I asked the question
ahead,
that
Trudy.
I asked, yeah, the list of the, the renovation.
Station renovations, yeah.
Renovations, okay. And it seemed to me that it was a pretty eclectic list. I'm just wondering how those stations were chosen.
Sure. You know, I had helped out with some of the first scheduling back on the concourse line that we did under 2022. And I know, without, you know, going into huge amounts of detail, that we piggyback off general orders. So when there's track space available, because we're going to do things like paint track ceilings, and you can't do that under traffic. So we're working off existing general orders so we can have access to that area to do that work. That being said, I know that we're doing everything that we can to schedule those stations in a geographically equitable way.
Oh, okay.
and that list definitely is that.
Yeah, that's one thing.
I mean, it seems very dispersed.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's based on work availability, resource to the track area. And then again, like I said, trying to, you know, be sure that we can represent the city in a diverse way.
We're also hoping that it's based on need.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. And listen, you know, we've looked at that, and there are some stations that may be better suited for capital renovation that, you know, what can I accomplish during a weekend? And does it make more sense to defer that if it's going to receive capital renovation next year? So yeah, that is certainly considered.
Yeah, Karen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are the hours of the agents now outside of the booth? 24/7? Is it during?
So without getting into details of schedules, you know, clearly based on commutation patterns, there may be more need for customer service provided outside of a booth than other hours. Predominantly, I think you'll be seeing station agents outside of the booth during commission, what we call commission or rush hour, where you're going to see high traffic patterns. However, there may be additional need for them to be in the booth for certain functions. But, you know, by and large, the access of them to be out of the booth to provide customer service.
Is it gonna be all the time, just set?
I don't know. It's going to be, yeah, it's not going to be every waking minute of a 24/7 schedule, but there will certainly be out of the booth, walking the station as the eyes and ears of the system and to provide customer service.
Lisa?
To piggyback off of Karen's question, if there's a booth on one side
Yeah.
and not a booth on the other side,
Sure.
does the agent go to both sides?
Yeah, I mean, the agent is required, you know, once they receive their premier customer service training, they'll be walking the station twice per tour.
Even if
So-
it's two separate entrances?
If it's within the same station, yes. If it's a station complex, like, you know, that may have multiple booths in the complex that serve multiple lines, and you would have multiple agents there. So, but within their stationary, yes.
It's the same station name. But it's
No,
not a.
you could have, you know, Times Square. That's,
I'm talking, so I live at, I'm on Vernon and Jackson, but
Mhm.
there's not, you can't, there's no up and over, you can't change. It's, there's a
Right.
inbound and an outbound.
yeah, I mean, generally speaking, rule of thumb, they will be walking the station that they are assigned to. That being said, even, you know, today, we're working through some of the nuances on this, you know, things that, you know, small issues to detail, and we're working through. But right now, you know, that's the game plan.
I would just say that everybody knows that there's no eyes on the outbound side, because that's where the people live.
Mhm.
That's where the fare evasion happens. That's
Yeah.
where all the trash ends up. So if there are
And-
people, if there's an erratic schedule of somebody being over there,
Mhm.
or even a regular schedule, that would make a big difference.
No,
I think
understood.
in those unstaffed sites.
Control area, yeah. I hear you.
Can I just request that you remove this from the screen so I can see if some of our remote members have their hands raised? Chris, go ahead.
I'm glad that we are cleaning some stations, but there are some stations like elevators, like I'm glad Demetrius did mention.
Mhm.
But when I put them into the feedback on the web, and it's supposed to be clean, like I know Stuart and I said West Fourth Street
Mhm.
is one of them that like to see the lights are fixed. But the inside and outside of the car, even outside the elevator door, it's all vandalized, it's all disgusting, and I'm gonna say it that way. West Fourth Street is one of them. I'm glad to see that other places, like I'm gonna use Seventh Avenue. I mentioned it I did send the pictures in. The platform, yeah, and I'm glad it was clean, but. there's
Seventh
a-
Avenue on the
the
B and
B,
Q.
thank you, Andrew, needs to be really, really checked, because I know you're gonna have geos coming up, these couple of weekends. Jason, because it's really, thank you. It's difficult because when you try to get off the platform, it looks like I'm going through a giant step off the B or the Q, and it's really, to me, and I have brought this up so many times, it needs to be fixed on both sides.
So I'm just trying to,
The yellow strip is
the tactile, yeah.
it's, you can't see yellow, it's all black.
And that's Seventh Avenue on the B and the Q.
Yes, both sides, all ends, and if you go on the southbound side, there's cracks already again, more cracks.
I will refer that to the GSM and station maintenance for their follow-up. That being said, in terms of, you know, elevator cleaning, I know that that's something that, you know, the president recently spoke to, and we're working on with the chief of elevators and escalators. I know that he's diligently working on, you know, use new technology where possible and find new methods of working on that. In terms of, like you said, Seventh Avenue, I can assure you that, you know, that there are cleaning hours at that station. However, on the tactile, some of the detailed cleaning requires more intensive manpower. But yeah, I will refer that to the GSM.
Because remember, I see NYPD has moved the homeless off, but then once they move them, it's still not clean.
Okay, thank you. Stuart.
Hi, two quick questions. The agents, will they be equipped with cell phones or devices to communicate in the event of a safety issue or if they need to report something?
So yes, our plan is to equip the station agents with cell phones. That's correct, with iPhones. Yes.
Actually, can I piggyback on that?
Okay.
Stuart, you have another one?
Yeah, the other thing had to do with the, the cleaners, and taking another look at that. So is the unit still experiencing turnover, or we're able to maintain?
Yeah, I mean, I would say in terms of station cleaners.
Yeah,
we have a
the cohort.
workforce.
Yeah.
We have a large workforce of cleaners who are, fall into all sorts of different age demographic buckets. And we certainly attrit folks who have had long careers and go and retire, and very happy for those folks. And hopefully they have long, happy retirements. But yeah, I mean, in terms of hiring, we are actively hiring and training new numbers of cleaners and adding to the workforce.
Okay, because that was a prior issue about the ability to recruit, and there are no limitations on where they can be deployed if you have on-the-fly changes.
I mean, station managers, in the case of say a cleaning emergency, or there was an incident is specific where there's, say, biohazardous. If there was a situation like that, station managers have the latitude to reassign cleaners on a case-by-case basis.
Great, thank you so much.
Yep. Scott, and then Sharon.
As far as cell phones go, why aren't they giving radios instead of cell phones? Was it an emergency? A cell phone is useless. Trying to open your cell phone and dial a number.
Plus they
So-
read them all day.
It's not- If they have the MTA cell phone, they can't access anything. A radio in an emergency is much easier than trying to sit there and fumble with a phone.
I would say that, again, we're in the infancy of this program.
Just something to
And
consider.
yeah, no, we
Personal
are
safety.
considering, lots of options in terms of, again, trying to make our agents as safe as possible. So I can tell you what we're doing today. And, like I said, we are considering many things.
And Scott's question is good, because frequently it's said the cell phone is so they can contact the police, whereas if they had a radio, they could be in direct contact with the police. Should
Well, the operations center.
No, they couldn't.
Yeah.
They can't.
Sharon's next.
This is actually related to the contacting. This morning, it was nice, there was a station person. And I heard him helping a woman.
Mhm.
And then I said to him, because he was there was someone on my car sound asleep on 3 seats.
Mhm.
And I thought maybe he'd report it, but he went over and started watching the traffic down below.
Okay, I mean, that's, in practice, and I don't know if that station agent had been assigned a cell phone yet, but in terms of someone where there's a public obstruction, according to that, and it sounds like that from the definition of what you're saying, yeah, that individual would like for them to call the operations command center and notify car equipment that that was the case. And apologize if that didn't happen.
Mr. X?
Okay. Regarding station agents, the current MTA head held a public hearing regarding that agenda here on 2/1. And from what I was told, he decided to remove them from the booths before the decision was made, making this a done deal. Okay, and almost everyone who testified at public hearing stated that's a bad idea due to safety concerns. And for what you just mentioned, it appears you just repeating what Gerald said.
Well, I guess in terms of what I can comment, I don't know that I'm equipped to speak to the legalities of the public hearing, but I can share with you that from the highest levels of the MTA down to Sheila Hudson, who's my boss, we're doing everything humanly possible, working 24/7 to ensure the safety of the station agents. Everything that we can humanly do. And it's important to us and for the people that work for stations that they feel that they're working in a safe environment.
Ron?
Eric,
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
that would have been a neat trick though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I was disappointed that bathrooms weren't listed on your list.
Public bathrooms?
Yes, there are many on the 30 or 40 in the system, and only 9 are operating right now under the latest. So I was wondering what that long-range plan is. And on a short-range plan, 9 are open. Why wasn't Sheepshead Bay included on that list? Make it 10.
So I would say it was 9 stations, which is 18 bathrooms. And I know that we're looking to expand that. I don't know that I can comment on, where that's going, but we're looking quickly to.
That was announced yesterday at the board
What was
of an expansion of bathroom.
phase 2 bathroom. So yeah, we're looking to expand that. And again, we want to give the public facilities with, amenities that are in good shape. So we're considering them. We're considering geographic diversity and our capabilities as we onboard more cleaners that can service those bathrooms. We want to be sure that our staffing is equal to the service that we can provide. And we are rapidly trying to onboard those resources so they can better serve the public.
And it was mentioned that between, I think, 12 and 1 PM is when maintenance folks go in and make sure the bathrooms are in good, clean condition.
that is correct.
Do a little freshening and, sorry?
PM or AM?
12 PM.
Noon.
Yeah, noon.
Noon to 1.
Okay.
Reasonable. How many bathrooms are there on the system?
Within the system, I believe, I don't know the total number of bathrooms. I believe the number of stations off the top of my head is roughly a little less than 70, probably about 69 stations.
Out of 472.
Yeah,
Mhm.
15%.
Yes, Jason.
All right.
I wonder what you guys are planning to do since that the station agents are going to be outside of the booth in case, God forbid, one of them gets assaulted.
So it's been extremely, like, as I've, reiterated many times, their safety is paramount to us. All station agents have either attended or are scheduled to go through what we call Premier Customer Service Training. And that's a multi-day training class where we discuss their safety. We provide them with the cell phone. We go over use of the phone. We talk about de-escalation techniques and, be sure that they're clear on ways that they can communicate from the station to the command center, whether that be cell phone, the help point intercoms, the EBCS. And as I said, do everything to ensure that they can provide top-notch customer service, but do it in a safe way. And as I said, through training, through managerial supervisory oversight, we are taking every step possible to ensure that that happens.
Because as you know, my home station is Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center. And officers of Transit District 32, I'll say less than 50% or nowhere to be found. And if they're there, they're always in pairs. And they are always, I'm telling you, always distracted.
Again, that's unfortunate.
We're not talking about the station agents, because I have 100% respect for station agents. We're talking about the transit police from Transit District 32.
And I mean,
doing their job.
What percentage respect do you have for them?
Right now, after Jason Wilcox retired, I don't have a clue right now.
so, what I can say is I can't speak for TD 32 or NYPD, but what I can tell you is in our monthly meetings with President Davey, you see a lot of the interaction from the group station managers that occurs with their local transit district, their NCOs, and that they are doing everything in their power to communicate the safety issues that they observe on the station and try to work with our partners, NYPD Transit District, to improve that.
Thank you very much.
Can I?
Yes, go ahead.
This is a quick follow-up to Lisa's question. Because it happened this morning. So many things happened this morning, but anyway, I am at 77th Street on the 6th. That station, first of all, like Lisa said, you can't go from one side to the other. But also the same thing on both sides, the uptown and the downtown side, that the platform is separated from the paying area.
Right, yeah.
Okay, and the booth was always, you could go to the booth. It happened this morning while I was waiting for the train, that somebody was having a problem with their, I don't know if I guess it was a senior, it looked like a senior to me, but with their senior card, that it just didn't go through or they couldn't get on. So they went back to the booth and the agent let them in, Okay, that's great. That's the way. But if the agent is on the platform,
right,
which is the other side of the turnstiles, then how does this woman who had a malfunctioning Metro card get hold of that person who was on the platform?
right. And I hear you, and I don't know that I'm going to go into specific instances of station geography, but to say that, as we are training station agents, we're working with supervision, we are trying to do what we can to, with the resources we have, provide the best customer service possible.
No, but I'm just saying there are a number of stations
Those are
like
challenges.
mine. And I'm saying, what would someone, if there was not somebody in the token booth and they were out on the platform, not, what would this person do?
no.
How did they get in?
A possible solution would
So help them.
be a call button at the booth where somebody, if they don't see the station agent,
So,
could be in touch with them either.
and one of the things that we're working with right now
Any thought to something like that happening?
is specific signage that's going to state, to ridership that I'm away from the booth right now and monitoring the station, but we'll be back shortly. So, we're looking at certain signage options that may make sense.
What about what Andrews just suggested, that there is at least a button that you can push that?
And then the
Get
agent knows
agent,
somebody's
because
looking for them.
otherwise.
Like I said, we're.
I'm trying to catch a train and I'm late. It didn't happen to me, but there were other reasons I was late. But, and I can't get through unless I do something terrible, like jump the,
No, we don't want that.
No, but then I'm saying, there's something more than just be patient, I'll be back soon,
understood.
if I
Well,
have something-
Just, as a notification, but like I said, we're in the infancy of the program and we are working through some of the challenges. And that's why we have probably an unprecedented number of managers and supervisors over the next few weeks that are going to be identifying issues and, finding.
I hope you will identify, because I think Andrew just came up with a possible solution. And there are more than just 77th Street. I mean, I know of a number of stations that.
I also made a
different-
suggestion yesterday about subway surfing. Perhaps if sensors could be installed on the tops of the cars, it would send a light in the conductor's cab and they would know somebody was up there and they would alert and stop the train.
I totally agree with that. But now, don't let, you open a whole can of worms. We're not talking about subway surfing.
We're beyond the purview of station.
We're definitely not.
Yeah.
We have time for about two or three more and that's it. Chris?
There is one thing that possibly your customer centers can also be watching also is announcements. I'm gonna use the Brighton line because there was an issue a couple of weeks ago. I know one other person here can vouch with me. I'm not gonna say. The concern is if there was a problem with a Q train or B train, any train, thank you, Lisa, backing me up, thank you. No, she's right. It could be any train.
We got the point.
It's a
Yeah.
train, that's a real problem.
Yeah. There's no announcements or the screen does not say anything.
The countdown clocks?
Yes,
Okay.
the count clocks, you will not know. It will say 5 minutes and then it'll go back up and then it goes down. But under it, it doesn't say due to this and this problem. And there's no announcements.
So
Welcome to Staten Island.
Yes,
what station of the B&Q had the issue with the
The
countdown?
whole, from Kings High, let's go from Kings Highway all the way into West Eighth. And as Scott mentioned, thank you, Scott, because it is correct. It is Staten Island also. We don't hear them either.
We don't have speakers.
Exactly.
We get a sign that says delays and that's it.
Yeah.
Are you responsible for the countdown clock?
I didn't think so. But I can certainly convey it.
There's tons of apps that can help you. I had an app that the countdown clock was showing 6 minutes. My app showed 1 minute, and in fact, the train arrived in 1 minute. So the countdown clocks aren't always perfectly accurate either.
Correct.
That's putting it mildly.
Backup apps are great. Mr. X, you'll be the last one.
Okay, regarding the training. The training doesn't help them if they get assaulted. Okay, it doesn't help us if we get assaulted. Okay, this is unsafe. Okay, That's what I told Jano on 2-1. That's what they told them. Like, everything I'm saying is going in one ear and out the other. That's a Q-tip, possibly fans of the speeding.
So, I mean,
Okay, he's made his point. He's not in favor of this new initiative.
Yeah, I
Riders seem to be in favor of it, however.
Yeah,
And Local 100 is fine with it. They signed the contract. And let's give it a chance and see how it works.
and I just, like to say, we are working with our partners in the TWU and providing them safety data, assault data that we take in. So we can look at, root causes, stations that may have particular issues, work with the police and understand issues that are out there and try to proactively address.
Thank you so much for your.
Thank you. Pleasure, everybody. You have a great day.
Have a great day. Lisa, you have a couple of issues to raise, yes?
I do. Thank you. Karen, thank you. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day,
for
everybody.
coming.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Do we have the minutes and the agenda?
But we're gonna approve those. The minutes have been circulated to everybody. Anyone have any issues with them?
Andrew would like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right, any objections? No.
None.
All right. How about, what was that?
That was Stuart.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm still here. None.
I needed that
What
last.
about today's agenda? Everybody fine with it?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Any objections?
No.
Great.
None.
All right, Lisa, please start. We have a couple of issues that we must bring up.
Right. Can I see the agenda for a sec? So a couple of issues. We are unbelievably thrilled to report that Kara's promotion has come through. And Kara is our new research and advocacy manager, planning and advocacy manager. So congratulations, Kara, very well deserved. Kara's been with us for just over a year and a half, so that's pretty amazing. Yep.
All right.
And she's still the girl.
Thank you. We are conversely sad to report that Liam has tendered his resignation.
Already?
And Monday will be his last day. So we will be seeking a new associate director. Andrew and I were trying to figure out if Bradley beat him out in that role, but he's been here longer. So that's our staffing.
So what are we looking for now?
We are about to post for Kara's old position, which is the Research and Communications Associate, as soon as we are assigned to a recruiting manager. And then we will be sooner than later, hopefully in the next week, able to post for an associate director.
Oh, associate director is his line.
That's the
right,
position,
okay.
yes.
Thank
Second in
you.
command.
So that's where we are on our staffing. So we were up and now we're down, but we have a small but mighty team that is here to do whatever we can. We just, again, may take a little while to respond to your.
Before we get into the old and new business, do you want to do the Queens Link issue that?
Sure. Yeah, let me just get back to it. We have been asked whether or not we would sign on to a letter in support of Queens Link.
Which one?
Queens Link is the rail link.
Utilizing the old New York connecting.
Yeah, we received a presentation on that.
You may remember you saw a presentation on that.
Yeah. Queens Link is the organization in Queens. I should have raised this when Karen was here as well. Queens Link, there are two different proposals. One is Queens Way, which would make the elevated back into a park.
Like a High Line issue.
That's something that our PA has supported. And then there's Queens Link, which groups which is a large other groups have supported.
What are the other groups, Lisa?
They are Greg Meeks, James Sanders, Jessica Ramos, James Adobo, Kristen Gonzalez, David Weprin,
In
Havasie
the
Anderson,
electeds.
Donovan Richards.
Also elected,
Yeah.
that group.
Those are individuals.
Yeah, Bayswater Civic, Bell Harbor Properties Association. Civics is Ozone Park Civilian Patrol, QEDC, Rockaway Beach Civic, Rockaway Civic, Rockaway Development and Revitalization, Rockaway Initiative for Sustainability and Equity.
So
I will send around the email we got so that you can take more time to look at the request in more detail. And we can see if this is something that we want to sign on to. This would provide transit on the unused line.
Might be heavy rail, it's not clear yet.
Oh,
would
wait a
probably
minute,
not be-
why does
Could be like
RPA, which all due respect to all these Rockaway civic associations and everything else, I think RPA has a little more clout. So I would be interested in knowing why RPA supports one plan and basically the people from the Rockaways, because most of the elected officials that you named also have contact with the Rockaways in that area. So did RPA say what
They have, and they've done, I'll send you that information too. There was a bit of an uproar when RPA came out with that recommendation, just similar to when RPA came out with the statement that they didn't think that there needed to be through running at Penn Station. So there are, not necessarily agreements with all of the decisions that are made there.
Right.
Just as there are not always agreements with the decisions that are made here. By whom, I don't know, but I'm more than happy to share with you all of the information that we can pull together on both.
And do you recommend us going along with the Rockaways group or the RPA or just staying out of it?
I wouldn't categorize this as the Rockaways group at all.
No.
This is not just, this is a Queens-wide coalition.
All of the,
That
all
was
of
just
the
the ones who I read. You asked me about the civics. That's what you specifically asked me about. There are Greg Meeks, I don't know that I would,
no, he's an elected official.
Yeah.
He's a congressman. All
There's
the
a
other
large
names that you named
but
were
that was
all
just
elected
a
officials.
sampling of others. I'm going to send you the
Could
information.
you, off the top of your head?
I cannot off the top of my head.
Okay.
No, I would not be able to do that. I would not give it due diligence doing it that way. So I will share the information in a more prepared and comprehensive.
Do have they told us the kind of time frame they would like our comments by?
They would like it, as soon as possible. Now, Queens Link, Sharon and Scott. Just so you know, just for a frame of reference, Queens Link is being considered as part of the 20-year needs assessment and the comprehensive statement of needs. So a comprehensive about the evaluative planning process. So it's being considered. There's no, if we don't make a decision today or tomorrow, all is lost. But they would like, they're gathering support for the coming months when the fight gets to the next level.
Sharon?
Is it essentially the difference between a park and a transit route?
Or a park and a transit route that has
Park
parkland
with it.
also, right?
But one is just a park and one does include transit.
That is from the presentations that we've
Yes.
seen,
That's what I
yes.
wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. And when we had the presentation here, the route was from the Rockaways up through the, Howard Beach area and up through there near the Woodhaven area, and then up and joining with the Queens Boulevard EFM&R lines. So, it's making a huge connection. It's more service to the Rockaways, probably a lot faster trip for those folks. But there was no clear announcement of how it would be funded. Funding is obviously
Yeah.
and how much it would require and the type of vehicles that would be used and all of that. There was also talk when it hit Atlantic Avenue that perhaps the Woodhaven Long Island Railroad Station could be restored as well. That's one that was also lost on that line.
We'll send that information around.
On both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we're prepared to do anything.
What's that?
I don't think we're prepared to do anything.
Bert, why don't you say louder so we can all
Not at the
hear?
moment.
What'd you
Okay,
say?
so
We're not prepared.
No,
let's
but
go
just
to,
We're prepared to, now I'm prepared to send. This has been a full week. of things.
I'm sure.
So
That's
I
right.
apologize for not having both of those.
let's go back to old business. Trudy, you had started.
Okay. This is, there are two matters. The first is that, and I don't know how many times I brought this up because it happens to me much too often. Bert, you're just lucky. Bert and I take the same line. That I take the number 6 from 77th Street to get down here to Grand Central, and then I go across the track and taking number 4.
Hope you go across the platform and not
I
the
mean,
track.
across to the other side, to the other track. Yes, thank you. Some people would hope that I would go across the track and get hit, but for those, no, across the platform. And it happened today, but it happens so often that the number 6 will pull in. It'll pull into the station. People are getting off. There is a number 4 or another 5, the express to come down here on the other side of the platform. And it's like, wow, I can make my connection right away. As the number 6 is not even pulling in, but the doors open on the number 6, the doors close on the number 4 or the number 5. I mean, almost. And then like today, you were wrong about how long it was for the next train coming in. There was an 8-minute wait for the next number, either number 4 or number 5. Yeah, something always happens. But all I'm saying is, and I've asked this question of, who was it, Crislow? The state.
Demetrius.
Yeah, Critchlow. Demetrius, I've asked it of so many people. I also pointed it out to Jano in a conversation. And nobody seems to have an answer. They say, well, they have a schedule to adhere to. But I'm not talking about waiting for the next train to come in. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about maybe a half a minute or wait.
All right, so
The conductor or the driver can't see it coming in.
I would have the same situation and the 4 waited. So it must have just something to do with scheduling.
No, I'm telling you, if it just happened today,
Yeah.
that would be the situation. It happens so
I'll find out
often.
what the actual policy is.
And not only the actual policy is, but why? If there's a policy that says
For you,
pull out immediately.
if there's another train waiting, I understand it. If a train is way behind schedule, I understand it. If it's just, if it's running perfectly, it could have
takes
waited.
a
So I
minute.
get it.
It takes a minute.
Yeah.
And okay, that's number 1. Number 2, once I got on the second thing, so that I'm not taking a West Side train. The second thing is that once I got on this number 4, number 5, I don't know why, and this happens quite often. The express trains are not express. They run so slow.
That happens every day.
Oh, and I would like to know why. I mean, is there an order to run slow?
There is the 4 and the 5 southbound between Grand Central and 14th Street is running at a slower speed. Rich
Why?
Davey told me that there is some sort of work going on.
Track
Well-
replacement.
Or something,
There
but
is
it's
something.
not just to 14th Street. It is all the way to,
Rich?
well, I don't go that.
Yes, you do. You're going
Oh, yeah,
beyond
I'm
there.
going, no. I am talking about, it is to Fulton Street. from Fulton to here to
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, go zooming. But otherwise, it goes so slow. Could we find out?
Yeah,
please?
sure. It's during the day. That's when they do the work.
They're doing some work there. Rich told me that. Yeah.
Well, okay,
I'll find out
I'll
the
ask.
policy and the specifics of what happened.
yes, thank you.
Yes. Chris,
This is also old business. As you know, they're doing this weekend.
I hope it is, because that's what we're on.
Yeah, the Q train, as you know, are running in two sections again.
Mhm.
And Andrew, I think we need to be concerned and be alert on is, since it's terminating at Atlantic Avenue, Barclay Center
Mhm.
on the Coney Island side,
Mhm.
there's some concern of overcrowdedness, safety. Because where the elevator is on the Coney Island side is in the back of the platform. The problem is with everyone getting off that Q train, thinking it's going on to Coney Island, or they're thinking there's Imagination train on the original Bright Line, which we all know they're doing track work. There is concerning why are we terminating at Atlantic, which should have gone really down to Ninth Avenue to be a little more easy to turn around and not putting the Ds and Ns on the local, going on the Fourth Avenue corridor. So, and there's another weekend.
Hold on, so is your question, why are they terminating in Atlantic?
Yes,
And then they should have platform people at Atlantic to make sure that
That's
there's
fine.
no overcrowding?
that's one. That's
Okay.
one.
Just making sure I'm getting.
No, you got it right. But then,
Death trap.
then, thank you. You can see everyone saying this, thank you for making it easy. But then there's another
So
similar,
then is the Coney Island bound train going from Atlantic Terminal back to Coney Island?
no. There's a shuttle buses from Atlantic to Kings Highway, and then you transfer to a smaller Q train, which I call it from Kings Highway to Stillwell.
Mhm.
There's another weekend on a Q train,
So what is ending at Atlantic Terminal?
the Q, the regular Q that goes to 96th Street.
And where did it originate?
It's originating at 96.
No, to get to Atlantic Terminal.
It's originating on the N and D platform on the downtown Coney Island bound side.
Uh-huh.
In other
In
words,
other words, it's all the way where the elevator is, it's in the back. And if, say, the person's getting off in the middle, can't get to the back because there's overcrowdedness now.
in other words, double A, the tracks that are used by the B and Q trains between DeKalb and Lancaster are closed.
Yeah.
So therefore, the Q train has to go with the D and R trains on Atlantic Avenue.
Yep.
And that's operating two sections, which has happened many
Yeah,
times.
yeah, it has happened a few times.
And there's another weekend, instead of the queue terminating there, then they're running another two sections, but instead of coming to Brooklyn, it's only running from Prospect Park to Stillwell. Then if you need to go to Manhattan, you have to take the NR by there and catch it at
You know,
57th Street.
if this GO is happening as you just elucidated it,
Yeah,
that's a perfect opportunity for them to do the work at Seventh Avenue Station.
and I did mention that just partially, I
There's
said,
no trains.
yeah. And the only concern I have an issue is you have three different the same GO, but you're doing it different ways. Like one weekend, you have the queue running on the D to Coney Island, still
Yeah,
there.
that's because they're finishing a piece of it and moving on to the next.
What's your suggestion? I'm sorry, we have
I know, I'm
13 minutes left and
Can we-
we've got to get to new business.
Can we just get to the point where the queue is going to make it easier to where it could be safely terminate?
I'm sure they've taken that into account, but we will inquire.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. X.
Okay, regarding old business, again. Over the next weekend, due to construction, the two train will be suspended between Franklin and Flatbush Avenues. You know where it's terminated? It's terminated at Utica Avenue. As specifically stated, it shouldn't terminate here because on the uptown side, riders will assume they're boarding the 4 train, on the schedule, they're boarding the rerouted 2 train. I mentioned this within the last 12 months or within the last 6. So again, Janet Lieber isn't listening.
I don't know that it's that personal, Mr. X, but it's their platform personnel at Utica to let people know this is a ton, not a 4.
Listen, it doesn't matter. I'm saying I was there a while back and those riders were wanting the rerouted 2 train, not the 4 train. So why terminate 2 train there when they can just terminate at New Lights Avenue?
Which is where, yeah,
Yes, hello.
yeah. Probably because the 3 is still going there.
Well, with the 3 train they could suspend the 3 train outright and just
They've been
replace
doing
service
that.
above 130 Fisher with a shuttle bus.
Yeah, they've been doing that for quite a few weekends and having the 4 run to new lots, as you know.
Inconsistently, that's the
Yeah.
problem.
All right, let's move on to new business.
Can I, before we do, Will joined us
Yeah.
and Will spoke yesterday at the board meeting and showed a video on subway surfing. And about how easy it is to open the chains
Yeah.
on the.
I saw it.
And I think that it would be great, he hasn't spoken except in the beginning of the meeting, if we give him an opportunity to talk about what he came here to speak about, if that would be okay for him. Since I see that the new business people are also the non-members who've raised their.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
I have good business. So, thank you. You know, what's it called? I'm here because my friend, he died a few weeks ago, subway surfing, and he was a good kid, like a respectful kid. Like there's this ideal that people who subway surf, they're like, just like assholes. Like he was just like such a respectful kid. He never like said anything wrong with anyone. And one day in the bathroom, he's just talking about it, and I like shook him. I said, "You're gonna die if you keep doing this. You're gonna die." 4 days later, I was in my house and I got the call that he died. So like we can't let this go up to people's self-responsibility. My whole argument was like, it's kind of a stupid argument, but like when the whole Tide Pod challenge was going on, that was just like such a dumb challenge. Kids were eating Tide Pods, knowing they were dying and still doing it because they thought it was cool. And Tide took responsibility and put locks in the containers. I think the MTA should do the same. I'm glad that I got to go to this meeting because I've seen how stretched out thin you guys are, how many problems you guys have to deal with. And this isn't like your first problem, but like
Not the last.
it's not the last, it's not the first, but
It's an
you
important.
guys have already fixed it on half of the lines. Though you can only do it on the 4, 5, J, and A and L and the 7 lines. Those are the easiest ones to surf. You can still back surf, you can still side surf, but those are way less dangerous. And any other way to get on the top is way less accessible.
4, 5, J.
4, 5, 7, J, A, and L. The L tends to be locked and the A tends to be locked, but they all have the same issue with the safety chain. That video that I showed with picking that thing up, that's not just the J, that's all those trains I'm talking about. Like when I was getting here today, I was looking at the chain on the 4, 5, there's nothing. It looks like a cane. You can just pull it up. You can just pull it up, nothing's stopping you from pulling that thing up. And the whole thing is when you pull that thing up, you then put your foot on that thing and then you grab up and then you're on top. And you could technically like push someone
Are
up.
you talking the 142 equipment?
I honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, he is talking about
When I
that.
was doing my research, I saw that Kawasaki made some trains, Bombardier made some trains, and that they make some of the same trains, some of the
Kawasaki,
different trains. Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Like it's hard for me to know exactly what it is, but the old NQRW trains, not the new ones that you guys are doing.
R41s?
Yeah, the old
Yes,
ones are
the
the
old ones, they
R46.
have the locks. Those things don't budge. You can't.
And they're getting rid of those trains,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
exactly. But the new trains I see they're replacing, they don't have like
Yeah.
they're safe. But I think that for the trains that are actually like still bad, like I was staring at the 5 train waiting. I'm like, how is this still a thing? The 4, 5, like they haven't really gotten renovations from what I've seen. I might be wrong.
That could be the R62 or R62A.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like it is so easy. Like I said, anyone with arms can do that. A 4-year-old child could go and lift that up. It's
Well,
weightless.
you saw what I said.
Yeah.
I said, why can't we put sensors on? It would immediately alert the train crew
Yeah.
somebody was
That's
up there.
Well, I think it's so
Easier,
much.
faster, fast.
I think that's so much more money. What I'm saying is if you put locks in, even if not like, I was coming with the idea of spikes on top of the train, that's a lot of money putting spikes on top of trains. If you put it just on the
I'm not
edge
talking
of the
spikes.
not even spikes, but like maybe like studs or something that like if you put your hand, it like hurts your hand because then you can't grab up. Only on the edge of the train, there's
I
no
wonder
way
how that
getting
would
it.
affect maintenance.
Use the old mousetrap.
I was reading the laws and it says that you can have something above the train up to the top of the tunnel if it's 16 inches. You can get maybe like a 2-inch spike, like a little like a thumb, something that's like not inhumane, ethical, something that can't really hurt someone. You put your finger and you get pricked. You can't get up there.
Well, there's only one little problem. You see, when it's come snow season, when
Yeah.
you didn't have ice, that could actually damage that roof.
That's true. I didn't think about that, but I still think the idea of the locks, like,
But the locks sound like.
I'm not saying the locks will stop it, but I think there'll be a huge cutback to it. I think a huge
Old
cutback.
mousetrap.
But one.
Mousetrap.
We can
Put
take
a whole
that back.
monster on
Yeah.
the top.
Oh, I see.
So that's something, you made that suggestion yesterday, but that's something that we.
But actually, Andrew and Lisa, in news 12,
And Bird, you see, he left him out.
and Bert, in news 12, back 2 weeks ago, there was this kid. His name is Arthur Graves,
We've got 6 minutes.
You got to speak fast.
who I met during the Grand Central Madison opening when on News 12 exposed himself as a subway surfer. And he admitted publicly doing this. And is very, very dangerous. And you guys know that I have been denouncing this since last year.
Well-
And now we are finding out for ourselves, people that are doing this. And thanks to William that has been coming forward and denouncing the consequences.
Yes, and there's increasing pressure on social media to not accept these kinds of posts as well.
Yes.
That's a really big one because everybody wants to see themselves doing this and let other people see them.
There are other ways aside from.
There are. You can video it yourself. I understand that.
It is like so horrible. What's it called? Like the kid who gave me that video, he was an ex-surfer. He doesn't do it anymore because he stopped before Zach died. Some other one of his friends almost died. Like the video, it's like the kid was taking a video himself and you can see him get hit by a beam and he survived somehow. Like he was in the hospital for 3 weeks, like this close to dying. And after that happened, he's like, nah, I'm not playing with my life like that anymore. But what I was saying, this kid, the ex-surfer, he was telling me that these communities, they are huge. Discord channels of 500 members. They are a lot of people. So that's what I'm saying. Like even adding cops, doing all this stuff, like that's not going to stop people because humans, they're adaptable. We see that throughout history, like verbatim. They will always find a way how to get around what like you do, like
Get over
they'll always find ways to get around it. Like, with hopping the turnstiles, they'll always find ways how to get
The
around that
Williamsburg
stuff.
Bridge is a big one for
Yes.
doing that. So I've asked them to have people at Delancey Essex and Marcy Avenue to make sure that nobody's doing this and you don't have extra personnel if
So
necessary.
the Williamsburg Bridge is like the main one. That's
It's
where
the main one.
everyone goes.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, the conversation that we should probably have a longer period of time for next time. But we've got 4 minutes before we have to be out of this room.
Is someone else coming in this room?
Somebody's always coming into this room.
I don't mean cleaners.
Neither do I know.
Okay.
We're the only people cleaning it.
Okay. Eric,
Thank you.
But thank you. And we should.
this is not over.
No, this is not
Yeah,
over.
this is not over and I'm.
And hold on, Jason, hold on, Jason. But we now got 4 minutes. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, so as the B train is being phased out and replaced,
Dave Train is being phased out?
well, the B train cars are going to be replaced eventually by the new.
Oh, the 46s, yeah. The 211s are going to replace them
So
or something.
they're not being maintained. What's currently on the road is not being maintained. That's all I'm trying to say. So as the light bulbs go out, the fluorescent fixtures go out, they're not being replaced.
I know, I ride the C train and.
And the cars are getting darker and darker every day. So when I go from Sheepshead Bay Road to Prospect Park, I have daylight and then it becomes twilight.
night fever.
And I'm just wondering.
Eric, when you see that, can you please make note of the car number and send an email?
Will they care? Because
They will if I report it.
Yeah, report, send it.
Well,
to-
say something.
You know, all my other complaints, some they
Okay,
fix, some they don't.
send it. Don't just complain. Do something.
Yeah. send-
Mr. X.
That's what I usually do, but I thought this was a maintenance that they're not gonna fix.
No, they'll fix them.
No, they-
Absolutely, they will.
Hard one.
They're even cleaning the cars.
So they,
Cars are clean, yes.
new business, this 2 things. Okay, Jamaica Station, longer bathrooms. Kathy needs to hurry and fix those bathrooms once for all. That's why I don't recommend that going upstairs, fake A train and using the bathroom there. And in the future, if Jana holds a public hearing, he needs to attend it.
Yeah, you made that clear yesterday.
Not throwing the towel at the Golden All Scholar, which did for Bob
Can't be
Pappy.
everywhere.
What I'm saying, he was here on 2/7 with the researcher before that public hearing started with regard to capital projects, and he no show. He's in the building, and yet he no show. What's the logic to that?
As long as somebody from MTA is running it, the chairman doesn't have to be there, does he?
Wait, who is
He needs to attend public hearings.
That's like,
Not everyone. It's got a busy schedule. Come on.
Well, if I'm saying, if he's here in this building, there's no reason why he can't attend it.
I'm not going to speak for his schedule, but I can't imagine his schedule, especially lately with the budget and everything. My goodness.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Are you going to do it or you're just saying it?
I'm saying it.
Second.
All right then. Would you guys like me to get more videos and find out like specific manufacturer, like which car, which transit?
If you just give me car numbers, that will tell me.
What's it called? I don't know what car numbers.
And we-
Car numbers are on the side.
Thanks very much.
I know the models. I'll give you the number.
I